Hello, welcome to this edition of For Pet's Sake. I'm Missy Tuttle. The Animal Service Center works really hard to find loving homes for the pets they take in. But when those pets are heartworm positive, it becomes an even greater challenge.
In 2009, we took in over 11,000 animals, and roughly half of those were dogs. Sadly, the dogs that are heartworm positive only have a 45% chance of being adopted. When someone comes looking for a dog to adopt, they'll walk into our adoption area, and oftentimes we'll start reading the kennel cards before they take a look at the animals. When they see that a dog is labeled as heartworm positive, they'll walk right on by. They won't even take the opportunity to spend a few minutes with that dog to see if that might be the perfect pet for their home. Let's take a listen in there. Heartworms really are what they sound like. They're parasitic worms that live in the heart and lungs of the animals that they infect. Heartworms are most common in dogs, but we can occasionally see them in other species. Heartworms are spread by the bite of a mosquito. That mosquito flies around until it finds an animal it wants to bite, bites the animal, and can transmit the heartworm over to the animal. It takes about 6 months for those baby heartworms to wander their way around the animal's body until they find their way to the heart and lungs. Once they're there, they grow into adult heartworms, which those can average in length from anywhere from 6 to 12 inches. You can imagine if your heart and lungs are full of spaghetti, essentially, it's hard for them to do their job. Now that we have adult worms living in the heart and lungs of the infected dog, they start to make baby worms, which float around in the bloodstream. Another mosquito flies along, bites that animal that's infected, and then pick up those babies, and then has the ability to transmit them to another dog. So that's how the life cycle is carried out. A dog cannot transmit heartworms from directly to another dog. That mosquito is needed as an intermediate step to carry those heartworms around. Down here where we see mosquitoes year-round, heartworm prevention really is important in preventing this deadly disease. It's a pretty serious infection. Just because a dog is heartworm positive doesn't mean they won't make a great pet. There is treatment. Treating heartworms in dogs involves a series of injections of a medication that's specifically designed to kill the adult worms that are in the dog. When a pet owner has to put their dog through heartworm treatment, it's a pretty serious commitment on their part. It's a rather expensive treatment, and it takes several months for the dog to go all the way through the phases of treatment. Following those injections, when the dog is released from the hospital, they'll go home for at least a month's period of time when they're on strict cage rest, which cage rest in our world is the equivalent of bed rest. It really is important to keep their activity level restricted for that first month following treatment, because as those adult heartworms start to break down, if all of a sudden we kick that heart rate up, a little piece of heartworm could break off and get out into the blood system and cause what we call an embolism. An embolism basically just means a piece of something that gets stuck somewhere. You can imagine the blood system in the body as just a bunch of pipes that get smaller and smaller as they spread throughout the body. If a little piece of heartworm gets stuck somewhere in a small pipe in the body, that prevents the blood supply from getting out to the tissues out there, and that could cause a major problem, especially depending on where that embolism ends up, and can actually be fatal in some cases. Once a dog has completed their heartworm treatment, it's really important to get them started on their monthly heartworm prevention. If an animal is on prevention every month, if they're getting their chewable pill or their topical treatment, they're not going to get heartworms. Prevention is key, both for dogs and cats. It's very important in cats because there's absolutely no treatment for cats for heartworm disease.
We've learned that heartworms not only affect the health of these dogs, but also their adoptability. So what solution has the Animal Service Center come up with? Let's see.
We noticed that a lot of our customers passed up the heartworm positive dogs due to financial responsibilities and the recovery period.
Dan came to me and said, look, I've got this situation with the heartworm, some heartworm dogs. And I go, what happens with these dogs? And she says, well, a good 40 to 50% of them get put to sleep even before we bring them out to the adoption. And I go, wow, that's a shame. We started talking about it more and more and more, and we said, gee, you know, maybe we could start a heartworm positive program in one of the prisons, because we were at another facility doing something similar, and I said, you know, that's a great idea.
Our way of assisting these dogs and making them more adoptable was to create the HART program. The HART program stands for Heartworm Assistance Rehabilitation Training. It's a dual program that involves heartworm recovery, post-injection, and obedience training for dogs. The adopter does not have to worry now about the cost of treatment. We have not elevated the cost of these dogs post-graduation, and we have taken out the element of the recovery period.
What we do is we actually take dogs from positive heartworm dogs from Tallahassee Animal Service Center, and we bring them to Wakulla CI. And the inmates at Wakulla CI, actually what they're going to do is take them to a recovery period.
The Animal Service Center, of course, has the dogs available, and we pre-screen the dogs before bringing them to the prison, because we don't certainly want to waste the resources to treat them and then waste the inmates' time to train them and then not have them get adopted. One of the main things that we're looking for is to make sure that any of the animals that we put into the program don't have any kind of aggression by putting cages next to each other, creating all the dogs, and then seeing if they're going to have food aggression by putting food bowls in the crates to see if they have aggression amongst themselves.
What we do is we try treats, some other stuff, and if we would have to place it on the floor, because that was reacting to the bowl, not to the dog.
Right. Yeah. We also want to make sure that they're not food aggressive to people by using a fake hand that we put into the food bowl to make sure that they don't respond or react negatively towards that hand. If they bite the hand, growl, or snarl at the hand, then they don't get to come to the program. A second necessary component to the pre-screening is to make sure that the dogs have the ability to focus on a person using treats. If the dogs are not people-oriented or treat-motivated, then of course they will not tend to be as successful in the program.
The candidates have been chosen. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll get to the heart of the program.
Get yourself a cool dog today at the TLC Animal Shelter.
This is your City of Tallahassee utility storm tip. State guidelines suggest that you have a hurricane survival package that includes a first aid kit, batteries, flashlights, battery-powered radio, 3-day supply of food and water for your entire family, charcoal or gas grill, wooden kitchen matches, a portable cooler, prescriptions, cash, and a hardwire phone. The City of Tallahassee, your source for emergency information at talgov.com.
I stop.
I stop.
I stop.
Because I don't want to get a ticket.
I stop.
Because it's the law.
I stop.
I stop.
I stop. Because I'm a safe driver.
I stop.
Because I don't want to cause a crash.
Because saving a few seconds isn't worth a life.
I stop.
Because I value my life.
I stop.
Because my kids are my priority.
I wish they would have stopped.
Red light safety cameras now in operation. Visit talgov.com.
Welcome back. Now we'll see 8 heartworm-treated candidates and their handlers as they endure 12 weeks of rehabilitation and controlled training to ensure these guys get a second chance. She's like, no.
This is Tila. She's a Rottweiler. She's 3 years old. very food motivated, already know the sit command verbally.
These dogs are originally tested at the Animal Service Center out of Tallahassee, and they begin their treatment there, and then the dogs were brought to us here at the Wakulla Work Camp, where we introduce those to the inmates, and we begin the process of teaching them obedience as well as recovery from this treatment.
We put you together with the dogs we felt that you're going to do the best with.
Once the dog has gone through heartworm treatment, it's very important that we restrict their activity for the first month of the recovery phase while their heart and lungs are dealing with the medication that we've given to them.
Page 3 in the manual itself. It's our job as the trainer now to explain to them that they need to do stationary exercises, which is we call the RED, and that's the stop. Don't do anything until we tell you what you need to be doing next. It means stop. No exercise. See it? Those exercises are like sits, downs, stay, and maybe a stand, and that's about it. Here, I gotta bring it a little lower. There we go. We got it. So look, I gave her this, then I'm gonna do this. So she gets the idea of what I want to try to do. Your body movements are gonna tell the dog exactly what you want. You see it? It took body movement to get this dog into a down. You saw that? So I may have to start from here and go like this. I tried to come up higher, so I was pushing it, so I brought it down just a tad lower. I never said go down or anything like that. The dog started doing it. Okay, when can the dogs go to phase 2?
In order to clear them from the red phase of training, where they're doing stationary training, to move forward to the yellow phase of training, where they're allowed to have a little bit more activity, we come out and do a full medical assessment on them. Let's see what she does for a run. We want 60 seconds of running as fast as she can run. The medical assessment involves a full physical exam, and then also we put the dogs through some exercise tests.
Keep it up, keep it up.
We walk them, we run them, and then we check their heart and make sure that they're able to tolerate that increased exercise level.
There you go.
All of the dogs cleared through the first phase of training. They all passed their medical assessments and are good to move on to the next phase of training.
Then they go into the yellow stage, which is the caution stage. And there's minimal exercises in there a little bit. This way, Bradley. Bradley, sit. Good job. See it? I didn't even give him a piece yet. Did you see how I did that? And look at my hands. Watch my hands. I'm going like this constantly. Why? Because when I don't have any treats anymore, then you don't need the leash anymore. Ready? Forward. Dog's name in the word heel. And halt. We're gonna practice the doorway now, all right? I'm gonna watch. Come on back. Now turn around quick. Stop. We're getting the dog to sit now and wait, and then walking through, and then calling the dog through. So what happens then is you're teaching the dog any doorways that are open, I can't make a mad dash out. Remember to walk forward, don't walk backwards now. Get in front of him, walk forward, walk forward. Now.
The yellow phase of training lasts about a month, and once they're ready to move on to the next phase, what we call the green phase of training, we'll come back out, do another medical assessment, put them through some additional exercise tests to make sure that they're ready to move on to full activity. All right, keep it going.
We'll do controlled walking, which is basically a healing exercise. We're gonna go do the 8-minute rule. You see anybody holding the leash the wrong way? Look, Blue's doing it almost there, almost. Okay, the purpose of this exercise is to get the dog to walk alongside of you or behind you, and you're gonna do it for a solid 8 minutes. Don't talk, don't look, don't touch. That particular exercise teaches the dog to either walk alongside of them or behind them, but never out in front of them. So when they do put them on a regular leash, that the dog won't be pulling on the leash. So they're getting basic obedience. Even if there was one dog that's not up to par, we're gonna wait, because this is a team effort. We wanna make sure that everybody moves at the same pace. Then we have an exercise called the figure 8, and that actually teaches the dog how to maneuver through crowds.
Good job.
We have every single inmate that's involved in the program working with every single dog before it leaves here. Why? Because we want to be able to get the dog to adapt to its adoptee when it leaves here.
Gives them something to do, gives them an opportunity to have an assignment, a job assignment to do it every day, and you know, they're not sitting around idle, and they just love it.
I'm a big animal lover, and I felt like I could be part of her life, you know, help save her life. You would have never known this dog had heartworms unless somebody told you. I mean, in the beginning when they went through their treatment, they're a little sluggish at first, but after the first few weeks, they're just like any other dog. I'd love to see her go to a loving home where she'll have a good life, and she won't ever have to go back to any animal shelters.
There you go, good job, good job. Talk to them in the upper.
The inmates, as a team, we teach the dogs basic communications that they'll take with them. I look at it like this, you know, if you just think heartworm, that's an attitude is like, oh, I can't deal with it, you know. This program, changing the attitude of the people that's walking by these dogs. This dog here, you know, even though that he's been treated for heartworms and people might see him differently, but he's a good dog. He's got energy, and once he's treated, everything's fine, you know. He's able to live a healthy life and go on and be with a family, you know. It can work, you know. You just have to see.
They love just having the dogs here. You know, it teaches them care and responsibilities. That's part of our mission in the Department of Corrections is re-entry. And this allows our inmates here that re-enter the communities to have a skill and something they can use. And also, as part of that, they can learn valuable life skills that they can take back with them in dealing with life every day.
Okay, caller over here. I need a caller on this side.
Begin.
We understand that the HART program is the very first in the nation of this type, and we're very proud to be a part of that and be a facilitator for the HART program here at Wakulla Correctional Institution.
I'm really happy with the dogs that I see right now. They are really, really working well.
Once they've completed all 3 stages of the recovery process and the training, they're no longer a heartworm positive dog. They're just a regular dog that's a great dog to become a pet and to get adopted into a forever home.
Strong, forward.
Naturally, the goal is to get them adopted out. The other goal that I have for the program actually is I'm hoping one day an inmate might be able to do what I'm doing. So then it can be self-sustaining. Not only are we affecting the dogs and getting them more adopted out, we're affecting the inmates, giving them self-pride back, giving them self-respect, and learning to trust themselves all over again. That's what I see, and that's priceless. You can't put a price on that.
Our motto for the program is change a life, and all you have to do is start with the heart.
Just because a dog has heartworms doesn't mean that it wouldn't be a great pet. When we come back, we'll see how the HART program here at Wakulla Correctional has put these dogs back on the path of adoptability. Stay with us.
Bunny, Puppy, Gerbil, and Kitty. They come in from throughout the city. Is your tomcat up to his old tricks? Are you sure Mama Dog is actually fixed? Help us, help us, help us get control. We've got more animals than Fort Knox has gold. You hold the key to getting pets a home. Spay neuter your pets so they don't roam. Fewer kittens and puppies in production benefit existing animals from this reduction.
Mortgage, utilities, kids' education, living expenses take a big bite out of every dollar.
But if you think about it, food, the most important of all, really doesn't.
In fact, in this country, only 11 cents out of every working dollar goes to buy food.
11 cents, now that's affordable.
We know that keeping food prices low is important because Florida farmers don't just grow the food.
We buy it for our families too.
Safe, affordable, and abundant. Food for thought from Florida's farmers.
Well, that's me right there, 4th from the back. You know, when I first did that commercial, it was just a job. Well, I live in this community too. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you. Now I realize just how much runoff can affect our drinking water. We're all a part of this community, so what one of us does has an effect on all of us. That's what this campaign is all about, finding out what each one of us can do to stop our own personal pollution. TAP. Every drop you lose, nature finds.
Welcome back. The HART program definitely tackles the tough part, cost and rehabilitation. Now we'll hear from an owner of some previously heartworm-positive pooches.
This is Biscuit and Huck, and they were heartworm-positive dogs. Biscuit is a 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old chocolate Labrador Retriever mix. And I first became acquainted with Biscuit when I had signed up to be a foster at the animal shelter. And I was contacted about a dog that they had who needed heartworm treatment, but she was in such bad physical shape that they needed a home for her, a foster home, until she could be, her weight could be brought up and her health could be brought around so that she could be treated. So I went out to the shelter to meet Biscuit. She looked at me and she wagged her tail. So I said, of course, Biscuit's coming home with me. I brought her home, and my husband and I fed her like 5 or 6 times a day to try to help get her health back in order. And we gave her vitamins, and we put about 25 pounds on her, and then she was ready for her heartworm treatment. And we got her through the treatment, had her for about 8 weeks there, and then they tested her, and she's heartworm negative now, and she's doing great. Biscuit, come on, girl, come on, girl. I first saw Huck in the back of the kennel at the shelter. I volunteer at the shelter, so I just loved his look. He's a Walker Hound Beagle, and I love those types of dogs. As soon as people would hear about that heartworm positive status, they weren't interested. So I was very concerned about Huck. So I decided at that point that he's a sweetheart. There's not going to be a chance for him unless we get him through heartworm treatment. So I adopted Huck, and it took about 8 to 10 weeks to get him through it. It was not really a problem at all. You keep the dog calm, but he can still go around the house and go outside to go to the bathroom. And I just didn't let him run around, but he did fine. We've taken him back since then, and he tested heartworm negative. He's perfectly healthy, and of course he's on heartworm preventative now. Come on, girl. Come on, Biscuit. Huck and Biscuit, they are best friends. You would think that they were litter mates, and they spend all their time with us. When we're watching TV, they're sitting on the couch with us watching TV. We take them out for rides and go get snacks. We'll take them for walks around the pond. One thing that people need to remember is that heartworms are 100% preventable. It's a pill once a month, that's all. I would encourage people not to let heartworms stand in the way. It does not affect your dog's behavior, your dog's health. They're wonderful dogs. It's just like having any kind of an illness or a disease. You treat it, and then you've got a great dog. As someone who's fostered a lot of heartworm-positive dogs, and I've owned heartworm-positive dogs, I was absolutely thrilled when the HART program was established. And that's primarily because it's difficult to treat a heartworm positive dog at the shelter because you can't pay the attention to them that they need. There's too much activity going on, and they really need a quiet environment. So this was just wonderful. They take the dogs into the program, they treat them for heartworms, and they also get their obedience training. So by the time they're through with the program, they have a clean bill of health, they're well-trained dogs, and hopefully they'll be excellent candidates for adoption. Many people that I run into will tell me, oh, I can't go out there, I just can't stand to see it, I'd bring everybody home. When you walk up to the kennels, they look up at you with those eyes, they wag their tails, and they're so happy. And you don't get that anywhere else. Honestly, after a hard day's work, there isn't anything at all better than going out there and having a dog just show you unconditional love. It's a wonderful shelter. The dogs are very well taken care of. We have dedicated staff and volunteers that look after them. And honestly, it's a great experience just to come through. And if you can't have a dog yourself, bring a dog out, take it for a walk, pet it. It gives you a great feeling, and it's good for the dogs.
Going shopping can be fun for you, but deadly for your pets. Never leave a pet unattended in a car, even for a few minutes. A partially opened window does not provide enough cool air to keep your pet safe. On warm days, it can take only a few minutes for the temperature to rise above 100 degrees in your car. If you see a pet in a closed car, call the City of Tallahassee's Animal Control at 891-2950, describing the pet, the car, and the car's exact location so you can get help.
Did you know that many homeowners still think it's a good idea to masking tape their windows when preparing for a storm? Since 1998, the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes has been busting many myths like this and providing homeowners nationwide with free information to learn how to harden their homes before a storm strikes. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit www.flash.org to learn how to protect your home from disaster.
I'm Andy Hillstrand, captain of the Time Bandit. For generations, my family's fished for Alaskan crab in the Bering Sea. But the rich heritage of commercial fishing extends far beyond the Pacific Northwest. Florida's fishing traditions are among America's most colorful and unique. All along the Gulf and Atlantic coast, Florida fishermen bring in their catch of safe and wholesome seafood. When shopping or dining out, ask for fresh from Florida seafood. You'll help local fishermen and local economies.
Welcome back. With the first HART program nearly complete, we hope you guys give these guys a second chance. For more information on these and other great pets available for adoption, contact the Animal Service Center or visit the online kennel at talgov.com. And remember, stopping overpopulation starts by spaying or neutering your pet. Thanks for watching For Pet's Sake. We'll see you next time. For WCOT, I'm Missy Tuttle.